What is going on YouTube? What is going on Kansas City? And what is going on everybody? And welcome to the Beat of KC. I'm excited to provide this video to you today because it is going to be the MLB Mock Draft 2021 for the Kansas City Royals. Super pumped about the draft. I'm really excited that it's starting to get closer and closer, and a lot of expectations are starting to kind of set in place for where picks potentially could fall. We're starting to see MLB do a little bit more mock drafts. We're starting to see a few others like Baseball America put some more together. So I'm going to kind of provide you my thoughts on at least 3 picks I would like to see the Kansas City Royals potentially get. And how that falls, we'll just have to see. So if you're interested in talking the Royals, if you're interested in talking about the draft, then I suggest you stay tuned right after this. But before we dive in and start talking about the prospectus of players dropping to the Kansas City Royals, I ask that you guys smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, comment down below, and now it's time to get into the video. Let's go. It's that time of the year, ladies and gentlemen. The Major League Baseball draft is almost here. The excitement, the players are getting amped up to hear their name called. Their families are super pumped. And they get to go continue on with their dream of playing baseball into the major leagues. I mean, this is an exciting time for a lot of people. It really, really is. And this is exciting for people who really enjoy covering baseball and watching baseball. The unfortunate circumstances are, yes, we get the opportunity to focus on a lot, scout a lot of good players. And when you're really at the top, you get to see amazing, amazing players potentially come to your team. The only downside is that means your team the year prior probably was not doing well, especially if they're picking towards the top. So you probably got to see some terrible baseball the year before. But it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. How I'm going to talk about this and break this down is I'm going to really talk about who I envision the Kansas City Royals taking from mostly of what I've seen in mock drafts. I'm going to talk to you about a player that if we got this player, I would probably absolutely collapse just because of excitement. And then the next one would be a position that I feel we might need here in the near future. And it could be a position that really is just a good player in this draft. So we're going to be talking about all this. And I might even throw one in at the end as a sleeper pick that could potentially come to the Kansas City Royals. I'm really excited, ladies and gentlemen. I absolutely love baseball. I love covering the Kansas City Royals. And this is, again, an exciting time. So let's jump into this. As of late, through a lot of mock drafts, there are some young shortstops that have been rising up the boards. The Pittsburgh Pirates are first when it comes to the draft, and I've seen a ton of picks for them taking the studs, these young shortstops. Marcelo Mayer is a shortstop from East Lake High School in Chula Vista, California. I've seen him rise up the board, and they have him potentially being taken there. I've also seen the young stud that they have, going to the Royals quite a bit in Jordan Lawler, shortstop from Jesuit Prep in Dallas. So I've seen him kind of climb up the board along with Khalil Watson, a shortstop from Wake Forest, North Carolina High School. So those 3 shortstops right there are really climbing up the board quite a bit. And there's a chance that could drive down some of these players that a lot of people just didn't see as an option for the Kansas City Royals. You obviously have the likes of Jack Leiter, who is a dominating pitcher from Vanderbilt. Really, early on in the season, was just lights out. I mean, the guy was lights out. Followed by his, running mate in Kumar Rocker, who, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, is a monster on the mound. He's had some issues with control a little bit. We've also seen him have a little bit of velocity issues as of late. There's times where he's in the low 90s, and then he's ramping it up almost to the high 90s, hitting 100 miles an hour. So there's been some question marks around that and kind of why we've seen him drop on some boards. There's some other players as well. Henry Davis, who I'm really excited about, a catcher from Louisville. I think that he provides a really good piece there as the staple behind the plate, commanding pitchers, calling pitches. I really like what Henry Davis provides. The question is, does he fall potentially to the Kansas City Royals, and would the Kansas City Royals even take him? So let's jump into it, ladies and gentlemen. The first scenario is going to be the one that I've seen most when it comes to mock drafts, and that has been shortstop from Jesuit High School, or Jesuit Prep, from Dallas. That is going to be shortstop Jordan Lawler. I've seen him really kind of mocked up to the Kansas City Royals quite a bit. You know, he is going to be a stud. The only question mark is Bobby Witt Jr. has been lights out, ladies and gentlemen. Has been absolutely hitting frozen ropes and absolutely hitting missiles, moonshots when it comes to home runs. I mean, this guy is doing it all. Currently at AA Northwest Arkansas for the Kansas City Royals. So if they envision him being that long-term player there at shortstop, then this pick right here is kind of a question mark for me. I understand high school players have to develop. They have to understand how to play the game of baseball at a professional level, and they do give them a little bit more leniency when it comes to struggling. But it still is a question mark unless they envision Bobby Witt Jr. playing center field and Jordan Lawler eventually coming up and playing shortstop, or vice versa. Maybe they have another position slotted for Jordan Lawler as he continues to develop and come into this organization, if that is the route that they choose. It'll be very interesting to see. But I've also seen a lot of mock drafts where Jordan Lawler has climbed almost to the top. It does seem more and more as we get closer to the draft, the Pirates are not going as much to a college pitcher. They're more leaning towards one of these stud high school shortstop, just freak of an athletes type players. So we'll have to see how that breaks down. But if Jordan Lawler is there, or even a Khalil Watson, I could see them definitely potentially taking those for sure. Now, the one that I was talking about that if we drafted this player, I would probably just be frozen for a little bit, just out of excitement. Someone would probably have to wake me up. That is Kumar Rocker, ladies and gentlemen. I absolutely love college pitching. Pitching is literally an asset when it comes to Major League Baseball. We're seeing it so much. You can go out and sign free agents in the free agent market when it comes to baseball as a small organization. We were able to get Carlos Santana this year. We were able to go trade for an Andrew Benintendi. You're able to make some things happen when it comes to position players. Ladies and gentlemen, when there is an elite of an elite starting pitcher that is out on the open market, typically I would say 9 out of 10 times the Kansas City Royals are not even going to be in the market because they cannot afford them. A perfect example was Garrett Cole. There's no way the Kansas City Royals were even in the running to sign Garrett Cole, even if he was interested to come here based on the finances. It just was not going to happen. So that is something you have to consider going into drafts like this. You have to be able to capitalize and hit on draft picks. And I think Kumar Rocker can provide an absolute above average to elite level when it comes to pitching. I mean, I really do. I think the guy is a complete workhorse. He shoves when he's on the bump. He's an intimidation when he's on the mound, and he loves to go out and pitch, and it's definitely visible. Some things I see from Kumar Rocker are he's probably going to have to continue to refine and retune, really getting into the zone. You're not just going to be able to step on the mound and overpower major league hitting. You're going to have to really develop some skills on hitting more spots, become more focused on hitting spots, things like that. I also think that he's going to have to be able to, from a longevity standpoint, be able to stretch out how long he's on the bump and maybe learn to develop to go 7 to 8 innings if possible, even though it seems like nowadays more and more pitching, starting pitching to be specific, doesn't go that long. You see starters typically go 5 to 6 and they're out of the game. So maybe that's something that they're really working towards, but I'm a big Kumar Rocker fan. He pitches in the SEC at Vanderbilt. He's had a really good running mate in Jack Leiter. Those two are a deadly, deadly duo, and they've been doing some amazing things. I mean, they faced teams like Arkansas, Tennessee. I mean, the list goes on playing in the SEC. It's almost like a minor league. So you're really getting prepped for what you're going to be getting when you get drafted. So it'll be very interesting. Now, the final one that I was talking about is going to be a catcher, and that is Henry Davis from Louisville. I would absolutely love Henry Davis to find his way to the Kansas City Royals. I think, obviously, with Salvador Perez getting to the point where catching it's not that he can't catch by no means, because I still think he is a very Gold Glove caliber. He calls good games. He is very, very good. But you got to figure, by the time Henry Davis would be entering into the major leagues, there's a good chance that you're going to see Salvador Perez DHing a lot more like we are now. Cam Gallagher obviously is catching a lot more than we thought he would. Salvador Perez is getting older, ladies and gentlemen, and the catching position is a very, very tough position to go out day in and day out, crouch down on your knees, constantly getting beat up by balls and all kinds of things. And so, as Salvador Perez continues to age, he's going to probably play less and less at catcher. Henry Davis, ladies and gentlemen, is a very good catcher. He is a very good receiving catcher. He calls a good game. He definitely commands the game from behind the plate, works well with pitchers. I do believe he is a great hitter as well, and that's something that you don't often see a lot of out of a catcher. It's just a rarity that their job is to play defense, to go out there, call the game, and make sure the pitcher is on his A game. So Henry Davis, I do think, is a special catcher. But the question is, will he fall to the Kansas City Royals, and would they even be interested is another question mark. I've seen him go to the Boston Red Sox quite a bit. I've also seen him go as high as the Texas Rangers. So it'll be very interesting to see how this ends up developing out. And so what I'm going to provide you last is going to be a sleeper, one that I would like to see the Royals take if he's there, if all other options, I guess, fail. And that would be Ty Madden, a right-handed pitcher from the University of Texas. And ladies and gentlemen, I like this kid. I think he is a good competitor, throws gas, gets out there and definitely does what he has to do when asked upon. I've seen him slip a little bit in the draft. There was a chance he could even potentially fall to the low first round. And so it'll be interesting to see. He does play in the Big 12, like I said, for the University of Texas. So he does still get to compete against the likes of Texas Tech and Oklahoma, Baylor. There's some pretty decent, good teams in the Big 12 as well. I don't think to the level of what you're going to get in an SEC, but you still get to face pretty good competition. And as you go into regionals, super regionals, and even into the College World Series as they continue to go, Texas will get to face some very, very good talent. So Ty Madden will be expected to pitch very well, and I think that's also when you're going to see him shine the best. So it'll be interesting. So that is going to be my sleeper, is Ty Madden, a right-handed pitcher from the University of Texas. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this mock draft of the Kansas City Royals, and we're going to have to continue to keep up and see how close, if I even called it right, or if the previous mock drafts that they placed out were correct. Super excited for the draft. I really am. I'm excited to see who the Kansas City Royals take. It's always a special moment because they invite the draftee to a Kansas City Royals game. They have them post up in the press box. They introduce them through the broadcast, and they really kind of just talk about what it's like to be drafted. Welcome to Kansas City, and it's just good to hear the player talk. And it's really cool. So we'll have to see who the Kansas City Royals take, and we're going to continue to keep up with this, like I stated. I appreciate you guys checking out this video. I appreciate the support on the channel. It means a ton. We're only getting started, ladies and gentlemen. That's what's unique and what's exciting about starting a YouTube channel, especially in sports. This is just the beginning, and it's only going to get that much more fun, exciting, and the engagement is going to get absolutely incredible. I appreciate you swinging by and checking out the beat of KC. As always, have a good day.